In the cool, shadow-filled halls of the National War Museum, Dr. John Carter ran his fingers along the dusty shelves, pausing at a display case that seemed out of place amidst the array of historical military artifacts. The display housed a small, ornately decorated handgun, its metallic surface catching the dim light. Mark, the museum's curator, approached John with a quizzical look. "What's caught your eye there, Dr. Carter?" "This handgun," John replied, gesturing towards the display case. "It's not listed in the inventory from last month's catalog. Do you know its story?" Mark shook his head, stepping closer to examine the weapon. "It must have been a recent addition. Looks old, but not like anything I've seen around here." "Let's open it up," John suggested. His curiosity was piqued not only by the gun's mysterious presence, but also by its unusual craftsmanship. The two men carefully opened the display case, their hands steady to avoid damaging the relic. John lifted the handgun, feeling its weight. "It's heavier than it looks. Must be solid steel. The engravings, they seem personalized." Mark peered over. "Could it be a ceremonial piece?" "Possibly," John mused, inspecting the intricate patterns. "But usually ceremonial pieces aren't made this robust. This was built to last and maybe to use." "Should we check the archives again? See if there's any documentation?" Mark proposed, his interest growing in the mysterious piece. "Definitely," John agreed. "But first, let's take this to the back. I want to examine it more closely." In the museum's back room, equipped with tools for handling and analyzing historical artifacts, John and Mark set up their workspace. John pulled on a pair of white gloves and placed the handgun under a magnifying glass. He carefully removed the magazine and checked the chamber. "Look at this," John called out, adjusting the light to get a better view of the mechanism inside. "The engineering doesn't match the period it's supposedly from. This might be more modern than we think." Mark, now completely absorbed in the mystery, suggested, "We should test the firing mechanism. If it works, we could be looking at a highly valuable piece." John nodded, his eyes lighting up with the prospect. "Let's do it. Safely, though. We'll set up a controlled test fire. Can you get the ballistics gel ready?" "Will do," Mark replied, moving to prepare the setup. As he worked, he couldn't help but wonder about the origins of such a unique handgun. Whoever owned this had to be someone of importance. This isn't just a tool, it's a statement. John agreed. "Exactly, and it's our job to figure out what that statement is." He paused, considering the possibilities. "Tomorrow, we test fire. Today, we dig through every archive we have." As they prepared for their investigation, the air around them was filled with a sense of anticipation. This handgun wasn't just a new exhibit. It was a mystery unraveling, and they were at the heart of it. Little did they know, their discovery would soon place Earth at the center of interstellar attention, marking the beginning of a story that would span galaxies. The International Technology Exhibition was a grand event, showcasing the latest advancements from various civilizations across the galaxy. Earth's booth, though modest in comparison to the flashy displays of other planets, held a unique item that drew curious glances: the ancient, ornately engraved handgun Dr. John Carter and Mark, the museum curator, had discovered. As they set up the handgun under a protective glass dome, a group of Zaltraxian delegates strolled by, their attention caught by the seemingly primitive weapon. The leader of the group, a tall, imposing figure named Zorvath, sneered as he examined the gun. "What is this antique doing in a place of innovation?" Zorvath asked, his voice dripping with disdain. "Is this really the best Earth has to offer?" John, who had been quietly observing the reactions of the passers-by, stepped forward. "This handgun isn't just an antique. It represents Earth's rich history and ingenuity in weaponry." Zorvath laughed, a sound that echoed slightly in the vast exhibition hall. "It looks like a child's toy compared to our technology. Does it even fire, or is it merely for decoration?" Mark, not usually one to engage in confrontations, felt a surge of pride. "It does fire, and very effectively. We tested it ourselves." "Really?" Zorvath's eyebrow arched in amusement. "Prove it. Show us what your precious relic can do." John glanced at Mark, who nodded slightly. They had prepared for this possibility, having obtained special permission for a live demonstration, anticipating skepticism from the technologically superior alien visitors. "Follow us to the testing area," John said, leading the group to a specially designated range within the exhibition hall. The crowd grew as word spread about the impending test. John loaded the handgun with a single bullet, his movements precise. The Zaltraxians and other onlookers watched with a mix of amusement and curiosity. Taking his position, John aimed at the target, a high-density material used for ballistic testing. The room fell silent as he pulled the trigger. The sharp crack of the gun firing was followed by a moment of stunned silence as the bullet not only penetrated the target, but also exited the back with significant force. Murmurs filled the air, and the laughter quickly died down. Zorvath's face tightened, his eyes narrowing as he stared at the hole in the target. Mark couldn't help but smile. "Still think it's a child's toy?" John turned to the crowd, the handgun still in his hand. Earth's technology may not always look impressive at first glance, but it's effective. This handgun is a perfect example of that. Zorvath, clearly unsettled by the demonstration, gave a curt nod. "Impressive indeed. Perhaps we underestimated Earth." As the crowd dispersed, John and Mark exchanged a look of relief and triumph. They had proven Earth's worth in a galaxy where technological prowess was everything. The handgun, a simple relic from the past, had just elevated Earth's status among the stars. The successful demonstration at the International Technology Exhibition quickly transformed from a moment of vindication to a catalyst for unexpected attention. Dr. John Carter and Mark, now viewed as the custodians of a potentially revolutionary technology, found themselves fielding inquiries from various alien delegates intrigued by the old Earth handgun's capabilities. Back at their booth, as they prepared for another demonstration, an unexpected visitor approached them. Commander Selvig, a representative from the technologically advanced Meridian Confederation, requested a private showing. "Dr. Carter, I must admit, your demonstration was quite compelling," Selvig began, his tone respectful yet tinged with a professional skepticism. "Could we see another demonstration, perhaps with more technical details on the handgun's operation?" John exchanged a glance with Mark, sensing the strategic importance of this request. "Of course, Commander, we appreciate your interest." As they moved to a more secluded part of the exhibition for privacy, John carefully loaded the handgun, aware of the critical eyes watching every movement. This time, the target was set up with multiple sensors to measure the bullet's velocity and impact force. "Observe," John said, and pulled the trigger. The handgun discharged smoothly, and the sensors lit up, recording the data. The bullet not only hit the target with impressive accuracy, but also demonstrated a penetrating power that exceeded conventional small arms of its size and make. Selvig reviewed the data from the sensors, his expression one of measured astonishment. "The energy output and material efficiency are remarkable. This is old Earth technology, you say?" "Indeed," Mark chimed in. "It's from a time when our civilization valued robust craftsmanship. Apparently, some of these old techniques have been lost over time." The demonstration sparked a deeper discussion about potential applications and the physics behind the handgun. Selvig, increasingly interested, hinted at the possibility of collaboration. "Dr. Carter, while I am here at the exhibition in a mostly observational capacity, I believe my superiors would be very interested in exploring a scientific exchange. Would Earth be open to such an opportunity?" John felt a surge of excitement mixed with caution. "We would, of course, be interested in discussing further. However, any collaboration must respect Earth's sovereignty and mutual benefit." "Understood," Selvig nodded. "I will convey your terms. Expect a formal communication soon." As Selvig departed, John and Mark discussed the rapid developments. "This could be the beginning of something big, Mark. If we handle this right, Earth could gain valuable allies, or at least some much-needed respect." Mark agreed, but his excitement was tempered with a note of caution. "We just have to be careful not to get overwhelmed or outmaneuvered. Everyone's going to want a piece of this now." Indeed, the small, ancient handgun had not only fired bullets, but it also shot Earth into a new orbit of galactic intrigue and opportunity. As they prepared for more demonstrations, both men knew they were also navigating a minefield of interstellar politics and power plays. After the revelation of the ancient handgun's surprising capabilities, the mood among Earth's representatives at the International Technology Exhibition shifted from triumph to trepidation. Dr. John Carter and Mark, while still riding the high of their successful demonstrations, were quickly summoned to an urgent meeting with Earth's diplomatic corps following an unsettling message from the Zaltraxian delegation. In a secure conference room, Earth's senior diplomats and military advisors gathered around a large table. John and Mark were briefed on the communication, a thinly veiled ultimatum from the Zaltraxian Empire demanding Earth to cease further demonstrations and hand over all data related to the handgun. "This isn't just about technology, it's about power," the head diplomat, Ambassador Lewis, explained. "The Zaltraxians see this as a threat to their dominance in armaments. They fear what it signifies if a primitive planet like ours can produce such a weapon. John listened intently, his mind racing with the implications. We've stirred a hornet's nest. We thought we were just proving Earth wasn't as backward as they believed. We didn't anticipate causing a security crisis. Mark, looking equally concerned, added, "What are our options? Surely we can't just hand over everything. We'd lose the only leverage we've gained." General Mitchell, a high-ranking military official, leaned forward. "Our primary option is to prepare for potential hostilities. We must accelerate our own research and possibly begin production based on the handgun's design. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts should focus on de-escalating the situation." Ambassador Lewis nodded in agreement. "I propose we also reach out to other alien factions who showed interest in the handgun during the exhibition. If we can form a coalition, or at least some partnerships, it might deter the Zaltraxians from taking drastic action." John considered the strategic landscape. "We need to tread carefully. Aligning with one group might alienate another. And while we need allies, we also must ensure Earth remains in control of its own technology." The meeting concluded with a resolution to pursue a dual strategy of diplomacy and defense. John and Mark were tasked with providing technical support to Earth's newly formed Strategic Defense Initiative while continuing to engage with potential alien partners under strict confidentiality. As they left the meeting, the gravity of their situation weighed heavily on them. The ancient handgun, once a curious artifact, had become a focal point of interstellar tension. John felt the responsibility keenly. "We need to be smart, Mark, not just clever inventors. We're playing a larger game now." Mark nodded solemnly. "Let's hope we're up to the task." Returning to their work, the pair focused on preparing detailed reports and technical data for the defense teams, while also drafting careful communications for their alien contacts. The threat from the Zaltraxians had thrust them into the spotlight, and every move they made now had far-reaching consequences. The ancient handgun had not only changed their lives, but had also altered Earth's standing in the galaxy. Back at the secret research facility, the atmosphere was electric with urgency. Dr. John Carter and Mark worked alongside a select team of Earth's top scientists and military engineers, driven by the looming threat of Zaltraxian retaliation. The task was clear: replicate and enhance the technology of the ancient handgun to arm and defend Earth. The facility buzzed with activity. Researchers pored over every detail of the handgun's design, from the intricate mechanism to the mysterious composition of its materials, which appeared to contribute to its exceptional durability and firepower. "Have we managed to identify the alloy used in the barrel?" John asked Dr. Emily Zhao, the lead materials scientist on the project. "Not entirely," she replied, looking up from the electron microscope. "It's similar to titanium, but with properties that are off the charts in terms of thermal stability and tensile strength. We're trying synthetic replications, but it's tricky." Mark, overseeing the ballistic testing, called over to John. "The replication models are getting closer to the original's performance, but consistency is still an issue." John nodded, deep in thought. "Keep pushing for precision. We can't afford to arm our forces with unreliable weapons." As days turned into nights and back into days, the team made breakthroughs and faced setbacks. Each test firing, conducted in a reinforced underground range, brought them closer to their goal, yet the pressure to deliver was immense. One evening, while reviewing test results, Dave Richards, a military liaison assigned to the project, approached John with an update. "We've got intel suggesting the Zaltraxians are growing impatient. They might be planning a show of force to intimidate us into compliance." John looked up, his face set in determination. "Then we don't have much time. We need a prototype that can be mass-produced within weeks, not months." The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A young engineer, Lisa, suggested a slight modification to the firing pin material, an innovation that stabilized the energy discharge and improved the handgun's accuracy. Testing the modified prototype, the results were beyond promising. They were a success. The replica handguns exhibited the same powerful discharge as the ancient original, with the added benefit of modern engineering making them more durable and easier to handle. "John, we did it," Mark exclaimed, checking the data from the latest test. "These are ready for field deployment." John allowed himself a rare smile. "Excellent work. Begin preparations for mass production immediately." He then turned to Dave. "Inform the military command. It's time to equip our defense forces. We'll also need to start training immediately." As the facility shifted gears from research to production, John felt a mix of pride and apprehension. They had achieved something incredible under pressure, but the real test of their efforts would come when and if the Zaltraxians made their next move. With Earth's first line of defense taking shape, John and his team were not just scientists and engineers anymore. They were the architects of a new era in Earth's military capabilities, ready to defend their world against a formidable alien threat. Under the tense atmosphere of Earth's military command center, Dr. John Carter and Mark observed the deployment of the newly replicated handguns to the front lines. The entire defense network was on high alert, knowing that the Zaltraxian response could come at any moment. Lieutenant Dave Richards coordinated the logistics, his voice calm but urgent over the comm system. Units 3 and 5, confirm receipt of shipments and commence drills immediately. We need those squads operational within the hour. As reports flowed in, confirming successful distribution and rapid training on the new handguns, an alarm sounded through the command center. Surveillance satellites had detected a small fleet of Zaltraxian ships entering Earth's orbit, faster and sooner than anticipated. John's heart raced as he approached the tactical map, analyzing the incoming threat. They're testing our response capabilities. Let's show them what these handguns can do. Mark nodded. I'll oversee the ground units. They need to be precise and coordinated. As the Zaltraxian ships descended, their intentions became clear. They aimed to intimidate, hovering menacingly over major Earth cities. Ground units equipped with the replicated handguns were scrambled, taking positions in strategic cover points. The first exchange was tense. Zaltraxian ground forces, known for their advanced armor and weaponry, landed in several key locations, expecting little resistance. They were met by Earth's defenders, who were smaller in number but fiercely determined. John monitored the live feeds, his focus intense as he watched the Earth forces engage. The new handguns performed exceptionally. Each shot released was powerful enough to penetrate the Zaltraxian armor, a fact that visibly shook the alien invaders. "Direct hit on Sector 4! Alien unit retreating!" shouted a tactical officer from across the room. Dave relayed commands with precision. "Push forward! Keep them on their heels!" The skirmishes were scattered but intense, with Earth's forces utilizing their mobility and the superior stopping power of their handguns to great effect. As reports of successful engagements came in, the mood in the command center lifted slightly. Mark returned from the field, his face grim but satisfied. "The handguns are holding up, our forces are emboldened, and it's making a difference out there." However, the victory was not without cost. Casualties were reported, and the damage to urban areas was significant where skirmishes had occurred. John, feeling the weight of every decision, knew this was just the beginning. We need to keep up the pressure. This conflict won't end with one skirmish. Prepare for a prolonged engagement. As the first day of conflict drew to a close, Earth's strategic situation was cautiously optimistic. They had managed to repel the initial Zaltraxian incursion, but the alien response to their unexpected resistance would undoubtedly escalate. In the command center, as teams worked around the clock, John and Dave reviewed the battle data, planning their next moves. The ancient handgun, once a museum piece, had proven its value on the modern battlefield, giving Earth a fighting chance against a formidable enemy. Following their initial success against the Zaltraxian incursion, Earth's forces prepared for the inevitable counterattack. Under the command of Dr. John Carter and Lieutenant Dave Richards, the defenders refined their strategies, leveraging the surprising effectiveness of the replicated handguns in both urban and open battlegrounds. In the war room, John and Dave reviewed satellite imagery and troop deployment charts, their expressions focused and determined. "The Zaltraxians are regrouping faster than we expected," Dave noted, pointing to the clusters of alien activity on the screen. "They won't underestimate us again." John nodded in agreement, his mind racing through potential scenarios. "We need to capitalize on our current advantage. Let's coordinate a series of targeted strikes using our most mobile units. Hit them where they're vulnerable, especially their supply lines." Mark, overseeing the logistics of weapon distribution and field repairs, chimed in. "I'll ensure all units are fully equipped and aware of the new engagement protocols. The handguns have given us an edge, but our tactics need to stay adaptive." With the plans set, Earth's forces launched a series of swift, coordinated strikes against key Zaltraxian positions around the globe. Using the mobility and range advantage provided by the handguns, special operations teams executed hit-and-run attacks that disrupted the aliens' logistics and sapped their morale. Meanwhile, John initiated clandestine communications with other alien races who had shown interest in Earth's technological advancements at the exhibition. Building on the respect gained from their recent military successes, he sought to forge alliances and gather intelligence on Zaltraxian capabilities and strategies. As these diplomatic efforts began to bear fruit, Earth received vital support in the form of intelligence sharing and tactical advice from several previously neutral civilizations. This galactic cooperation helped to isolate the Zaltraxians, reducing their ability to strike at Earth with full force. Back on the front lines, the impact of the new alliances became evident. Earth's defenders, now better informed and supported by interstellar partners, gained confidence and momentum. In a critical battle, they successfully defended a major city from a large-scale Zaltraxian assault, inflicting heavy casualties on the alien forces and capturing some of their advanced weaponry. Dave, watching the battlefield footage, couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. "Look at them fight! Every soldier believes they can win. That's half the battle right there." John, though pleased with the progress, remained cautiously optimistic. "This is a significant victory, but the war isn't over yet. We need to stay on the offensive and keep pushing for total strategic superiority." As Earth continued to build on its successes, the balance of power began to shift. The Zaltraxians, faced with Earth's unexpected resistance and growing interstellar alliances, found themselves fighting a losing battle. Their next move would be crucial, and Earth's leaders prepared for all possibilities, knowing that the fate of their world hung in the balance. The ancient handgun, once a mere exhibit in a museum, had become a symbol of Earth's resilience and ingenuity, a testament to their refusal to yield under extraterrestrial pressure. In the aftermath of the protracted conflict, the world had changed. Earth's defenses, galvanized by the rediscovery and replication of the ancient handgun, had proven their worth against the Zaltraxian threat. Dr. John Carter and his team's efforts had not only defended their planet, but also shifted the balance of power in the galaxy. The command center was abuzz with activity, but today the mood was markedly different. News had just arrived that the Zaltraxian Empire, beleaguered by continuous defeats and dwindling support from their allies, had requested a ceasefire. John stood before a gathering of Earth's top military and diplomatic leaders, preparing to address them on the outcome of their efforts. "As you all know, this morning we received communication from the Zaltraxian Command," John began, his voice steady and clear. "They have expressed a desire to cease hostilities and discuss terms of peace. Thanks to your tireless efforts, Earth has not only survived but has earned a new respect among the stars." Lieutenant Dave Richards, who had been instrumental in coordinating Earth's military strategies, nodded in agreement. "This is more than just a military victory, it's a diplomatic one. Our ability to forge alliances and share our technological advancements has changed how the galaxy views us." The room filled with a sense of pride and relief. Mark, who had been at John's side since the discovery of the handgun, reflected on their journey. "From a museum piece to a key to our survival, this handgun has truly been a remarkable discovery." As peace negotiations commenced, Earth found itself in a strong position. The terms discussed were favorable, ensuring the security of Earth while establishing John and his team as key figures in galactic diplomacy. The treaty would include open trade routes, shared defensive strategies, and Earth's inclusion in a newly formed Galactic Council, a testament to their newfound standing. In the weeks that followed, John visited the museum where it all began. The handgun was returned to its display, now accompanied by a detailed description of its role in Earth's defense and the conflict with the Zaltraxians. Visitors from across Earth and other worlds came to view the relic, which had sparked such significant change. Standing before the display, John felt a profound sense of accomplishment. "We didn't just protect our home, we've ensured that Earth will be a part of shaping the future of this galaxy." The museum curator, once skeptical of the handgun's significance, now proudly told its story to anyone who would listen. "This isn't just a piece of history, it's a beacon of what humanity can achieve." As Earth continued to rebuild and strengthen its ties with alien civilizations, the spirit of innovation and resilience that the handgun symbolized inspired new generations. Earth was no longer seen as an isolated and technologically inferior planet, but as a vital member of the galactic community. The legacy of the ancient handgun lived on, not just as a tool of war, but as a symbol of Earth's ability to rise to the occasion, defend its sovereignty, and earn a voice among the stars. Humanity stood tall, ready to face any new challenges as a united and respected force in the galaxy.